Mary Vaughn, where's Bill Dooley?
I don't think he's on yet. He
Okay.
said I know he's been really busy. Hopefully he'll be able to join us today.
I thought I read an email from him saying he couldn't. Someone sent in that they couldn't.
I thought that was a meeting we had last time, but it could
Oh,
have been this
okay.
one.
Well, the way our email's been, who knows?
Yeah, I know he's got issues taking care of his father, but he had a bad fall and bruised himself up pretty bad as well. I don't know if you guys saw that email.
Yes, it's terrible.
Okay,
Right.
we are we are ready to start and we've got a whole lot on our plate, so we need to do that. Mary, do you keep an actual roll of everybody that's on?
No, I don't. I do take a picture of everybody that's on. And then I've got the video, but I don't generally take roll.
Okay, then let's do a quick roll call. Is Charlie Cooper on?
Yes.
Patsy McGuire, I saw you. Greg Atkins,
Yeah,
Cheryl Anderson, David Mast,
Yes.
Tiffany Ermeling. Not yet. Will Williams,
Recording in progress.
Becky Panshot, Bonnie Paulsmeyer,
Yes.
Marietta Moretta, I know can't be here.
No, yeah, she can't.
Gary Beckman,
Yep.
Victor Head, Marcia, I just saw you. Bill York is not, Dr. Blake Robertson. Matt Silas. Linda Waits. Jim Briscoe. Katie Renard,
Present.
Joe Pearson,
Present.
Eric Peebles,
Eric is having to take a little leave. He's had some family issues with houses. And so I'm going to be acting Lieutenant Governor until he can get back in business.
okay, thank you. Stuart Anderson, I'm sorry, Stuart Marshall. Albert Bradley. Derek Witt. Haskell Anderson. And Les Mace.
here.
Okay, thank you.
Carla, I joined Barb Thompson.
Yes, ma'am, thanks.
I just want you to know I was here.
Okay.
Yeah. And Tiffany
you-
joined late.
Yeah, me too.
Did you want to take a roll of the district chairs or just the lieutenant governors?
Oh, okay.
Just, can you write them down and make sure we've got everybody on here?
I
Please,
will.
Mary.
I
Thank you.
will.
Okay. Membership contest, Roy is up first.
Okay, Mary, can I share?
In just a minute. Then you can share all you want.
Okay, well, to begin with, the news for December is not particularly good. We have a net of 69 new members for halfway point in the contest, and that's just barely better than what we had at the beginning of December. So there really was not much change in the standings for let's see if I can find them here. Okay, Group A, the only major change is Greater Hot Springs moved up to second place. And otherwise, things were pretty much the same. And Group B, top 5 are all the same. No changes whatsoever in the top 5. And then Maplewood, Missouri moved up a few places and that was about it. So we really didn't have any changes to speak of in the contest because we didn't add very many members. I'm going to try to get out of sharing here unless somebody has any questions about the.
Will you email us a copy of that?
Yeah, that's going to be on the website and also it will be on the Facebook page and Mary will email it. I just got this out today, so you will get everything as it stands now. We are at the halfway point. And one thing about December is, we have holidays from Thanksgiving on, and a lot of clubs no doubt didn't meet the week of Christmas and maybe not the week of New Year's, but new members kind of follow a month after they are signed up. So we're really talking about new people that were signed up in November coming on according to KI and in December. So, if we're running a month behind, we're really kind of in trouble on trying to meet our goals. I'm going to take those down now unless somebody wants to ask something.
Mary Vaughn or Roy, doesn't the contest run through September 30, 22?
No, March the 31st.
March 31st.
Right.
Oh, okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we decided on 6 months to try to get something going. It would be very difficult to make it through the end of the year because we have so many drops at the end of the year, and it'd be very hard to calculate. We also want to try to get the money to the winning clubs so that they can do something with it this year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Roy. Now, we're going to go ahead with Barbara on new club.
Okay, there's not much change in new clubs. I just want to say to Les that we're going to have to get together and start the pre-planning for working with the lieutenant governors in May, because we'll have to have our grant in by April.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody else who wants to be in on that planning, please let me know. Does Victor?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good.
What's the pre-planning for again, please?
We are, Roy very graciously invited us to have a new club opening in conjunction with the lieutenant governor training, and have everybody come in a couple days early, and we'll have all those lieutenant governors there to help us go out and open new clubs. And we are going to apply for a grant with Kiwanis International. So if other people want to come, we should have the money to pay mileage and hotel. So that would be, what weekend is that in May, Roy?
Second weekend in May, and we're hoping to have it in either Branson or Springfield. We'll probably be working out of both cities.
Right.
We're hoping to do 2 clubs, right, Barb?
Yes. I prefer if we can all stay in one place, because that kind of adds to the synergy, that we can talk to each other and report on all the great successes of the day. So
I'm thinking Oasis might be as good a place as any, and it's easier to get around in Springfield than it is in Branson for sure. So
correct. And they are very accommodating.
And I think we could also do a couple of club booths while we're there. That's what I
Well,
like.
if we have enough manpower or people power and enough planning.
And there will be a board meeting at that weekend as well. So we'll.
Okay, so we'll have the trustees as well. We can put everybody to work.
That's right.
So
And that's the new plan. Everybody works.
there's lieutenant governor training along with new club openings. Is that what we're planning the second week in May?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We hope you'll come.
See if we can get it in the hopper.
Okay. Thank you very much, Barb. And I want to go out of order a little bit because we're going to be taking a whole lot of time on item 4 and 5. So if I may have you give us the update, please, on the mid-year education days, which is actually item 6.
Okay.
Let's get through that quickly.
Sure. So I'm really excited. Susan and her team down in Malvern are meeting at the university down there. And Kim Armstrong, who's president of the club there in Malvern, has a wonderful keynote speaker for us whose background is education and is actually the recipient of many recognitions for that. So we're excited about that. So we have our location. There'll be no charge for it. We don't know how it'll be with masks or no masks there. That will be determined at the time by the college because of the situation with COVID. And we are still working on finalizing some of the presenters and still waiting to hear from Kiwanis International. I'm not getting anything back on diversity, inclusion, and equity from them, but I'm hopeful that we will soon. Mary's kind of staying in touch with them. The gentleman who was going to do it for us is leaving Kiwanis, right, Mary?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian Tensklinger has submitted his resignation and he's leaving. And I spoke with Brad Boyd and he gave me a name and I've not been able to catch up with that person yet, but we do have somebody to talk to.
Good. Well, and so that's going on well. Springdale is bound and determined. They're going to have the most people. We are in Springdale, not in Bentonville or Rogers.
I know.
No, but let me finish. But I wanted to say that the Springdale Club is very strong. And if we combine that with a blitz before mid-year education days, we might focus in Rogers and Bentonville because there's a club that needs boosting in Bentonville and the morning club in Rogers also. So just going to say they're all just about 10 miles apart. So that may be a possibility for Ralph if he decides to do that. So we also have a keynote speaker who's the superintendent of the Gravette school system, and she's going to be speaking about issues with children in this post-COVID era. We feel this is beneficial for all of us because we are trying to learn how to work with SLPs post-COVID. So we're excited about that. I know Mary's working with her group. Both Mary and I couldn't get into our email for 2 weeks, except occasionally. So we're still trying to catch up, but we feel like we're on a good path. Mary, what's going on in Missouri?
Well, I don't know why I'm having terrible feedback from somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at. But anyway, we have locations set. We're still finalizing the location in Kansas City, but Bill, I think we're in good shape there, aren't we? Patsy, do you guys know?
Patsy and Greg both have been working hard on it. I've been traveling back and forth to a hospital daily. They're looking at the library in one of them in Liberty.
Bill, can I interject, Bill? Please?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I think, excuse
Yeah,
me, go ahead, Greg.
Let
Go ahead,
Greg go. Yeah.
Sorry. No, we committed with
American Legion.
North Cross United Methodist Church.
Right, church.
Okay.
On Vivian Road, and they've got facilities, and that's been communicated, Mary Vaughn.
Yes, it has, and I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
I had a brain cramp. Sorry.
Fine. And we're just, I've got a party working on a potential noon speaker hopefully from Children's Mercy Hospital. So
wonderful.
Keep your fingers crossed.
That
Great,
sounds
Greg,
great.
thank you.
I
One
know
more
in-
thing to add is that in Springdale, we do have a cost for using the First United Methodist Church, but the funds for that have been paid for by 2 of the people in the club. So you can have a little sponsorship opportunity if we have some costs we need to defray,
Right.
and say room provided by, AV equipment provided by. Just a thought. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mary. I didn't want to forget that. Thank you.
No, that's good to know, because we do have some costs at, definitely at Logan University, and I think, is there a cost at your church, Greg?
No upfront costs, but I was hopeful that we could give them some kind of stipend for just a courtesy of meeting there. So,
Well, we could talk about that. But yeah, and St. Louis is working on our keynote speaker. Is Mary Sally on here?
She is. She is.
Yes, she is.
I'm here. What do you need?
Oh, there you are. We were going to talk to somebody about speaking. Have you heard from anybody about our
I wasn't
speaker?
supposed to talk to anybody. Carla was going to talk to Gateway 180.
Oh, that's right, Gateway
And
180.
Bonnie was talking to Jocelyn about somebody from Special Olympics.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But anyway, we're working on both of those, and St. Louis is coming along. So I think we're in good shape. We just need to go on and finalize some of this stuff. We're still working on a couple of, on finalizing the workshops with KI people, so we can go on and get that out and get that publicized. So that's where we are.
Great. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Mary. And everybody else that's working on the individual committees. I know it's a huge group effort for sure. Okay, did mid-year. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes, we have a bunch of wonderful trustees and district chairs on the meeting. Is there anybody that needs to give us any update or have any information? Now is your time.
Carla, can I talk about, I'm looking for new CLE trainers.
Okay,
So anybody that wants to do that needs to send something to Mary Vaughn or to myself and say that they're interested in being a new CLE trainer. So I'll put my email in the chat.
and pass that out, folks, to your, as a lieutenant governor, to your individual clubs and let them know.
Because I've lost at least one person already and I haven't gotten responses back from about half the people. So we're going to need new trainers.
Okay. And John Buckwalter, were you trying to say something? Okay.
Carla?
Yes.
Yes,
Les.
I just wanted to, on behalf of Earl Collins, want to let everybody know that to your SLPs, direct them to the Earl Collins pages through our website, because we have some grants that any SLP can apply for a grant to help. And we've had several do that already. And it's just great. It's a great way if they've got a project they want to do that they need some funds to get started. They can get up to a $500 grant from Earl Collins for that. So please pass that along as often as you possibly can.
And does anybody have any questions or not understand about that? Because it's something that has been available. This is the second year and there's not a whole lot of people that are taking advantage of it. And we need to do that. I mean, it's there for folks and they need to use it.
Also, Carla, the deadline for Earl Collins scholarships is coming up. So everybody needs to be getting those in.
Correct.
Mary?
Yes,
Yeah.
Greg.
Just from what was said about the Earl Collins and the grant, is there someplace that we can find that information or info about that?
On
Yes,
the
there is.
website.
On the website?
Yeah, if you go to the Arkansas website,
To the
and
Earl Collins.
on the menu along the right-hand side, there's an Earl Collins, couple Earl Collins options there. You
Okay,
gotta go in a little deep to see it, and scroll down to the bottom of the page, I believe, in order to see the link to
You're
that.
asking an awful lot of me, but it's
Well,
on the MOARC website.
Yeah, Mohawk
Okay.
website, and go to the Earl Collins list. If you just tell your SLPs that it's on there and to look for the grant application,
Okay.
they can get that there. I know I carry a bunch of the applications with me. And anytime I'm with some SLP members or anybody that knows an SLP member, I hand them off so that they can take advantage of those.
Would you like the link sent to each lieutenant governor? Would that be helpful?
Yes,
Yeah.
it would be.
Okay,
That would be-
I'll make
that'd be
sure that
super.
goes out.
Thank
That'd
you.
be super.
Okay, any of our other trust? Yes, Les.
On Region 3, I noticed 3 clubs are in the running on that membership, Lebanon and Buffalo and Kabul. And there are 3 clubs that need a boost. So hopefully they can come through on their membership, and that's good to see them, which that'll leave Mountain Grove and Marshfield left in Division 26. That we need to get them motivated, and I'll be working on that. I might, just a little update on Region 3. I've got the 4 names from Neosho that are ready to go, and Vic and I will be working on that in a few days. In Marshfield, they're supposed to give me the names of 6 people that have paid, but they're still up in the air what they're going to do. And Marcia and Shane and I are going to meet with them Wednesday and help them out any way we can. We hope they don't vote to dissolve, but that's kind of up in the air. And with their membership and all of that, we're just hoping that they will decide to stay. But when you only got 6 members to vote, that can be good or bad. But after Wednesday afternoon, I'll give you all an update what's going on. And then with that, I'll get a hold of KI to get the membership adjusted, because Marshfield shows 19 members and Neosho shows 17, and quite a change from 17 to 4 and 19 to 6. But as soon as I get those numbers, I'll get with KI and get that taken care of.
Can I ask a question real quick? We have somebody on here that's just under user and no picture. Who is that? Can you let us know? And if you don't have a microphone, if you could just type it into the chat, then we could know who that is.
That is my fault, that last music blast, and I put it in another room. Anyhow, someone that I'm staying with in this condo left their phone here, and probably they're trying to figure out where their phone is. My apologies. Okay. It's awesome that 50 people are on this call, and I thank you so much. Anything else from the trustees or chairs?
Carla, I might just give a brief report on our action clubs. We're struggling. The action clubs are struggling. We have 10 active action clubs in our district, and only 4 of those 10 have actually paid their dues for this year. And of course, the problem is the COVID, the clubs are not meeting. But I'm trying to stay in touch with each one of our clubs and encourage them to try to either start meeting by Zoom or keep something going. But we're struggling in the action club area right now. And I'm proud of the 4 that we actually have going. They are working hard. I sat in on the Zoom meeting of the Lee's Summit Club last month and was really impressed with what they're doing there at Lee's Summit. But if you have an action club in your district or in your in your area, try to help them if you can to just encourage them to try to hang in there until we can get this behind us.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry.
Gary, I might add, and Gary, you can verify this, but as an SLP, they also could get one of those grants.
Yes, they could.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes. Good point, Don. Thank you.
And remind everyone that 990 ends are due in February 15th with the IRS.
Thanks.
So in your Lieutenant Governor newsletter to your clubs, that would be an awesome reminder for your clubs. Okay, we ready to go? Next up, and thank you very much for your reports, is Ralph McCormick. And as a preface to what Ralph is going to be saying to you, and I have some things to talk about afterwards, we have, according to Roy and according to all the records, 69 new members. If we're paying $15,000 worth of our money to have a new member contest, that's $217.40 per member. That's a little high. Anyhow, we need to do something, since we have a wonderful contest in play, to make that work and to not be ridiculous with it like this. The other problem of 69 members is, as Les said, he has people that are over-reported. And in this last week, we have heard of 3 clubs talking about how do they turn in their charter. So we could well be at net zero if those things all come to fruition. So with that happy news, take it away, Ralph.
Way to warm up the crowd for me.
Debbie Downer.
Let's hear the applause. No, seriously. There's some serious stuff going on, and Carl and I have been in touch, as long as I've been in touch with many of others of you too, and Lieutenant Governor as well. I've been talking positive talk about what we can do since May of 2021, October of 21. I sort of took this position over. It's a position that I think is very, very much needed every year. And I've got some information I want to share with you tonight. Let me just give you some information that I received in the last couple of 3 days. It's not exactly good information, but it's something that I think I'm focusing everything I'm saying to lieutenant governors, because I think lieutenant governors that are on here and those that aren't on here are the key factors and the boots on the ground that we need to talk to. This is a letter I received. It says, I'm sorry that the St. Clair Kiwanis Club is in the process of disbanding. Our membership is at 5 individuals. Okay, 5. That means they were at 7. That means they were at 11. That means they were at 15. That were at 17. Now they're at 5. How'd they get there? They got there because people just had other things that happened and they got out. They weren't rebuilding those clubs. That's what we need to do desperately. So they're down to 5 and they're tired and they don't have anyone else to be lieutenant governor. Be governor. To be president or any of the offices. So they send these letters out at the last possible moment. We're not giving up on them. This is impossible. I will take this as far as we can to try to assist them, but this is a warning call. Okay, I got another one. We at this club have tried to survive. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to devote to rebuilding, and all 3 of us are in industries that demands a great deal of time. I won't read the whole thing, but I want you to say that we are not sure how to proceed, but feel that our participation in doing so will likely be limited, and it might at best be that we contact remaining club members to see about their interest in rebuilding the club. This is 2. I have at least 2 other lieutenant governors that have maybe 2 to 4 clubs more. So these clubs are ready to shut down. They're tired. They're through. I'm serious about this. This is not something that I'm making up. And I want lieutenant governors to understand that we're the ones that can make a difference. It's not going to be Carla. Yes, she'll make a difference, but she's not going to be out there on the ground at these various clubs. We are. And I don't want to close the door on any club that does it. Both clubs need help, and we can help them. We're offering to help them. But if you wait till the last minute when there's 3 to 4 to 5 people and they're so worn out, they don't care, put yourself in a position. If we come to them and say, wow, we're going to make a difference, we can bring people in. We need to bring people in when they got 15, when they got 12, when they got 13. And we should contact them. Don't wait for them to contact us. If they contact us, it's way too late. Now then, I want to give you some facts about the division. And I know you're thinking, okay, he's taking it way too serious. I'm not. I've discussed this with myself, with Mary, with Carla, with about anyone that will listen to me. But gentlemen and ladies, I want you to understand that this is not a title to be lieutenant governor. It is a title that helps us achieve things that we can't do by ourselves. We can bring in other people to help us, but we need to save clubs. MOARC effective January 1, 2022. 5 divisions with no clubs below 15 members. Now, I want you to show your hands. I'm going to call off these divisions. Yes, that deserves applause, because wait till you get to the bottom of the page. Show me your hands, all of you lieutenant governors. If you're in Division 1 lieutenant governor, Division 12, Division 15, Division 21, and Division 25. How many hands are showing? Awesome. Awesome. I salute you. I congratulate you, because you have done a super job of doing what you have been asked to do, and that is work your clubs. Now then, I want to know if anybody's on here from Division 13, 6, and 3. Anyone?
I'm from 3.
All right, good for you. You only have 1 under 15. So I salute you as well. That's awesome.
What I do?
What'd you do? Well, I don't know what you did, but whatever you did, we need you to do it for other clubs, other lieutenant governors.
Okay.
But you basically don't have any clubs.
I didn't catch the compliment. So.
You only have 1 club under 15 members, which means you got all of your clubs in your division have more than 15 members. You have 1 that's under.
I would speak to that just a little bit, Ralph.
Sure, go ahead.
It's taken me a year and a half now, but the status quo is what's killing all of us. We cannot continue to be satisfied with the status quo. And for my division, and I've been a Quantian almost 40 years, I think, but this division used to have 10 or 11 clubs in it. Now we're down to 6, and that's the wrong direction. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
and Charlie Cooper has his hand up.
All right, Charlie, go ahead. Charlie?
I just raised a hand back at the very beginning. You said raise your hand if you're Lieutenant Governor in Division 1.
Okay, sorry, Charlie, I didn't see it before.
That's okay, Charlie. Fantastic. You are one, along with Greg, of the clubs that we got to salute you, because whatever you're doing, please tell us now if you have the time and you want to talk about it. Tell us, because I'm going to talk about the other lieutenant governors that have more problems than you do. Greg, we heard from you. Charlie, what have you done that has brought action to this situation?
Well, I've inherited a pretty good division to start with. We've always had pretty good membership, although our numbers are down since COVID. I know I belong to the Kirksville Club. We was almost at 70 members and now we're at 51. And we're working to build that back up and then inviting people to our meetings and seeking. It's just a little bit hard right now with the COVID and all the other stuff that's going on to get new members to at our meetings to check us out.
I think you said the word hard, but I did not hear you say the word impossible. See,
That's right.
That's the difference. Yes, you did not say impossible. You said it was hard. And I think that if other lieutenant governors realize that what you're doing and what both you and Greg have done and others, it's not impossible, it's just hard. And I salute you because I wanted to bring this out first, because is there anyone else that has comments concerning what they've done that might help other lieutenant governors? Please say so if you do. Okay, that leaves 18 divisions. All right, just to make sure you understand, we only have 26 divisions. So 18 out there, there's where the majority of our clubs that are dying. And I wish there's only 5 divisions, but there's 18 that are dying. Did I say dying? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a bad word to say, isn't it? It's probably negative and anti-PC, but the thing is, it doesn't matter whether you're under 15 or under 7 or 17, or you've got to understand, we have to understand as lieutenant governors that we have a challenge to do this, or the clubs are going to die. I've read a couple of them. I've got 5 more probably hanging out there that I don't want to talk to you about because they're not confirmed. But let me go back a little bit bigger, okay? Kiwanis has a total of 170 clubs according to the dashboard. Out of 170 clubs, there are 8 of them that are in CR. Maybe you haven't heard of CR. It's called Charter Revoked. All right, there's 8 of them. So that drops us down. Let's assume we have now 162 clubs. Now, I want you to pay close attention because what I'm going to tell you is serious. I've told you along as lieutenant governors, we're the boots on the ground. We're the ones that make a difference, and we do. We can make this club, we make this division and our clubs very, very exciting and happy to do, and they can come forward and everything can work out for the best. So we have 162 clubs. Would you care to venture how many of those clubs are under 17 members? Anybody want to guess? We have 162 clubs, 66 of them are under 17 members. Okay, we got 17 members. 2 of them get mad at each other, they quit. 1 dies, the other 2 move off. Wow, look at that. Now, all of a sudden, our wonderful 17-member club is down to who knows what. It's the absence of non-reporting. We don't even know. There's one club that I know for a fact that's being reported as 17 members, and they haven't met over in a year. So part of a lieutenant governor's job is not only to make sure the clubs end up doing what they're supposed to do, which report officers, report other stuff. It's not difficult to go out and talk to these clubs. And I can tell you right now, if you're reporting, you're going out to your clubs, you're sending in financials to receive your money back for your mileage. And I urge all of you to do that because you're paid 45 cents a mile. We are paid 45 cents a mile to make things happen for Missouri, Arkansas. And we can't sit back and just say somebody else will do it. They ain't going to do it, honey. I'm telling you right now, it's up to us. We are in charge. We're the lieutenant governors. And it's important that we do what we're supposed to do and what we volunteered for. I know we're volunteers, but it makes a lot of sense that we do what we think is best for Kiwanis. So how do we know the conditions of the club if we're not talking to them? If we're not going out there and making things happen, then how do we know? It's very simple. We don't know. And we don't know that there's 17 members going for Club X and they haven't met in a year unless we do it. Now, I want to ask all the rest of you lieutenant governors that didn't fall into that other category. I want to ask you some questions, and you'll hold your hand up and Mary or Carla, someone will recognize you. How many of you know how many clubs are in your division that are under 15 members?
Okay, we have quite a few.
Very good. All right. How many of you have talked to them and gone out to visit them? Perfect. Let's see a couple there. Greg, thank you. Now, I suspect there wasn't very many people holding their hands up on that, and I didn't hear Carla or Mary saying. See, that's where
Yeah, I thought you saw it, so I didn't say.
I don't see, I only see a small port here unless I scan through the whole thing. That's why I asked Carla and Mary rather to make sure that if anybody held their hand up, to tell me, because I can't see but just a dozen, half a dozen of them. So
About all that held their hand up.
huh?
That's about all that held their hand up. Half a
Okay.
dozen.
Well, that's okay. At least those are doing what they volunteered to do. And that's what I'm trying to say is that if all of us would go out there and find out the status of your weak clubs, there is a status. They're either good, they're bad, indifferent. But I can tell you right now, if they're under 15, they're going to be struggling very shortly. And that's what we're trying to prevent tonight. And the next time we talk, and the next time we talk, we're trying to prevent these clubs from sitting in letters of resignation. What I think that the most important question is, what would we suggest to our governor? How would we recommend her to advise or do other things? And if you have an answer to that, please hold your hand up and say, I have a suggestion that the governor should do this, and that would make a difference. Anybody?
I noticed that for international president, one of his themes is to get new clubs rebuilt. He's got his 5 priorities, and Governor Carla has fallen through with that in the board. That in our minutes a couple of months ago, where we got the new club building plan and membership boost plan. I think that membership boost plan goes along with what President Peter wants to do. And I'm glad to see some emphasis on strengthening new clubs, because in Region 3, we've got 5 clubs that are under 15. And we're trying to do what we can with them, but 3 of them are in the same division. That makes it a little bit heavy too. But anyway, I think that's an emphasis we need to do. And this, from springtime coming on, is a good time of excitement to be out and something new. And hopefully we can rejuvenate some of these clubs.
Bonnie?
Yes. One thing, I haven't heard anyone talk about mergers. And back a number of years ago, the Brentwood Club merged with Clayton University City, and they took off like wildfire. And then that club ended up to where it was dying down, and Clayton University City merged with Maplewood. And rather than losing these 3 or 5 members or 7 members or whatever is the magic number, I'm wondering if we should also look at encouraging clubs to merge if they're somewhat in the same vicinity. Because for us, getting Clayton University City was amazing. We got some amazing members because they were dedicated. They were the ones that were hanging on. So I think we need to think in those terms also. And, you know, I think we all need to be realistic. As much as we want to grow these clubs, we also have to remember we're in COVID. And now it's even worse because things are shutting down again. One of the clubs in my division is going back to Zoom for this weekly meeting. And then another club in Division 9 has already canceled a night because of COVID. So I think we need to be realistic with those concerns also, as much as trying to be positive and trying to help clubs.
Thank you. Any other, Katie?
Yes, thank you. I'm just going to say there are some of my weakest clubs that still aren't meeting. And that has to do with them still feeling concerned about COVID. The Lowell Club, to name one, tells me they're staying in touch. They're talking by email, talking by phone, but they're still not meeting. So I can't go see them if they're not meeting, but I can check in. And sometimes it takes more than one call to even get anybody to acknowledge or answer you. The idea of merger is a really good idea. And I think it's a last resort, but if there are two clubs in real close proximity and one of them doesn't have the strength to have officers, it's better to add those numbers to a stronger club than it is to wipe those numbers off the board. So I think it's really important that Ralph and those who are working closely with him can consider where would be a best practice to merge and then grow, because you have to have a certain critical mass to encourage other people to join. And when you have 3, you're not likely to find people there, but that's just too much yammering from me. But anyway.
Well, in
Anyhow,
Arkansas, it's kind of hard to merge whenever you're 25 to 50 miles away from the nearest club. And we have that down here. Most of the clubs are somewhere around 30 to 50 miles or an hour drive away. Up in St. Louis, it may be different. I mean, you may have that option, but I think down here, you have up in Springdale, I think you have several clubs that could have merged instead of going out in those areas up there because you're relatively close. But in Arkansas, down in the bottom parts here, and that's where I'm most familiar, it's really difficult to say, hey, let's drive 20 miles to have a lunch and do it. So I'm trying to say that there's options out there that if we work with the clubs we have, instead of letting them die, I think it's very, very important in the long haul for that to take place. If we let them go, then right now we're at the process, we're going to lose 33 clubs this year. We'll probably lose 33 years next year. I don't think that's a good outlook. And I'm not sure merging is going to be able to solve our problem. Our problem is clubs that need lieutenant governors to walk in their door, pat them on the back, come up with suggestions. That's a simple procedure to do. It's not complicated at all to take a personal interest in these clubs. That's why we volunteered to be lieutenant governors. So I think that for the most part, you get the idea. Yes, this has been pretty negative, but we've tried to convince lieutenant governors at meetings and everything else that you need to move around. You need to go out there and talk to them. If they're below their numbers, yes, if you want to see merging with something else, merge them with another one. But if they're not where they can be merged, then spend the time to get them back to 15 or better in their numbers, because we're going to lose a lot of clubs, and Mohawk needs to survive. We do a lot of work for children. Everything we go, our money goes out to help a child somewhere in Mohawk. And I don't want to see this ship sink because we weren't doing our job.
Thank you, Ralph. And you may need to be interjecting in this next little piece, but I wanted to get on before we lose our time for the evening. And I need everybody, and that includes my trustees and members of the board and everybody that's involved, to be my partner in helping grow. I know it's hard. I know we've had miserable times for 2 years with COVID. We've got a whole lot of excuses why many of us are kind of apathetic about how things are. But it's time to put that aside and get positive instead of apathetic. And what I wanted to do was to allow, and it's on your agenda, a new club boost to, in particular, tied to the 4 mid-year education days. And we can call it mid-year enrollment days. We can call it mid-year encouragement days, mid-year explosion days, because we want to explode the membership. We can call it what we want, but I want to get all of Lieutenant Governor's trustees, everybody that can help me, to show up 2 days in advance of the MYED. And this is a separate thing from the whole day program that we have. And we need to go into those areas, identify the clubs who will take our help with them. And we are here to be hand-in-hand partners with these clubs to help them grow. And we can still do that even with the COVID mess around us. We may have to go in to visit people with masks on. We may have to elbow bump them instead of shaking their hand. But we will do whatever we need to do to make this happen. We have a wonderful contest in place. People can get dollars to help them perform more service, which is what we're all about. And we can do it, but I can only do it with your help. So what I want you to do is to go out and talk to clubs in your area that look like they need help, and you know which clubs those are, and explain to them that we understand that COVID has decimated things that all of us have done. And nobody is saying that a club is not good because they maybe need a little help in rejuvenating, in getting a little more energy. Explain that we are going to be in your area. We are here to help you rebuild and energize your club. And what we want to do is go hand in hand with a club member. We are not going to build this club for somebody. We're going to build it with somebody. So we want to go hand in hand with a club member so that when we can talk a little bit about Kiwanis and all the marvelous things Kiwanis does overall, this individual can talk about what they are doing in their town, what they are doing in their area, what they've done for the last 10, 20, 50, 100 years. This is going to impress people and have them be a part of us. It's a part of the same thing that we've traditionally done, which is hiding our light under a barrel instead of telling people all the great things that we have done and will continue to do when we have more hands for service. So, can I get you all to commit to me that you will do your utmost to find clubs in these 4 areas? And I would actually like to offer it as something complete district-wide, kind of like Kiwanis One Day. I mean, we want to identify that we want to do this boost, put out a little bit of excitement that maybe other areas that can't make it to the 4 areas that we're working on at this moment want to be involved, that they would go out and do it too during this contest, or that they will say, I need your help, you know, can you help one of the other weekends that we have open? I will make sure that somebody gets the help they need. All they have to do is agree to work with us to be a better place. Do I have any questions about what I really had in mind? And Barbara? You're muted.
Yeah, Carla, Greg
Yeah.
Atkins. This, I think, is going to be a classic opportunity. I know I've got 3 clubs in my division that need help. They're they're small but mighty. But if your troops are going to be in the area, the 3rd and 4th, I think I can get 2 clubs that are real close, Liberty and Gladstone. And and we'll have, I'm sure I can get a couple of individuals from each club, and we can pair up or team up or do three together or whatever it takes. And I'll get them to identify potential members, and we'll have a list of people and places to go.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to commit to
And
that.
the point of this is to go hand in hand with these folks that are maybe not wholly comfortable doing this, so that by the time we leave, they will be comfortable, and we're going to leave them more capable than they were before we came into town. So we want to spread this. We want to have people become comfortable with talking about Kiwanis and with growing their clubs. And we've got people to help. All we need to do is do it. We've talked about our plans. We've talked about putting people in as club coaches. We're done talking. We got to put our feet on the ground, and we've got to do it. So we have to work really hard on these 4 occasions, and then we can look at other places as well to get this done. It's got to happen now. And Barbara had her hand up just before Greg.
Right. I would recommend that we use the criteria that Kiwanis International uses for Club Boost. And that is, 1, that at least 2 members from the club go out with the team, that they have completed at least 1 Achieving Club Excellence tool prior to this, to do some self-analysis and what they need to work on, to do a fact sheet of actually a printed sheet of the things that they've done. And this serves 2 purposes. One is the club often doesn't realize how much they've done, so that it gives them points of pride to talk about. The other is that they can give this out in the town. And in Chillicothe, what else happened with that fact sheet was that the Kiwanis club members that we were working with were really kind of down on themselves because the club was losing members. And as we went into the town, most of the townspeople were very admiring of them for all that work. And so that was a boost for them. And then finally, I was so glad what Greg just said, that they could have names of places to go. But and then we can talk about how to make those into appointments. It's, if you go in as a cold call, the chances of the person that you need to talk to being available are diminished, whereas if you have an appointment, they'll be there. So those are the 4 criteria that Kiwanis International uses before they'll approve a club boost for a grant.
Okay, but we're not going to do it that. We are going to emulate that.
Right.
But it is not on an official club grant. In
Correct,
case there
right.
was
We're not
any
going to be able to get a
question about
grant
it.
because we don't have enough. Right.
Right.
Correct.
So we have an awesome organization. We have kids that need our help more than ever. We are family, and we need to be changing ambivalence to excitement. So can I get a little yay?
Yay.
Hey, let's go.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we are at time. Did anybody have another question very quickly? Okay. Thank you so much. And I really do need you to help me make this happen at these 4 town events, to show up and to help us get these clubs boosted and get our membership boosted and make Kiwanis a better place for everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. And thank you so much for everybody that has caught up, and we now have a good list of our clubs and when they're meeting, the updates that I had asked for in December and in January. Almost everybody has now gotten back to me, and I thank you so much. It makes a difference when we're trying to figure out what to do. Have a great evening, folks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Night.
Good
Hey,
night.
Bill, call
Bye.
me. Night, everybody. Night, everybody.
Good night.